everybody. It's Chris Shubert with CNSG back for another edition of The Zoom, where we zoom in on thought leaders in the channel today. Today I have with me the head racker in charge of the channel, Mr. Michael Stevens. Hello, Michael. Welcome to The Zoom.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you having me.
So, Michael, you and I have a similar piece in our background. We both spent a very long time working for, a very large traditional telecom company, and now, of course, moved on to companies that are a little bit more centered on, cloud services and the evolution. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you found your way to RackSpace.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the question. Kind of a really non-standard evolution for myself, quite frankly. I worked for 20 years for a tier one telecom company, and I was actually about 10 years into that, and I was a leader on the operations side. So I managed a lot of our order entry, billing, collections, even teams in that for business markets. And at one point along the line, our channel chief came to me and said, "Hey, why don't you drop in on my partner advisory council? And I'd love for them to listen to you, meet you, and have them give you some feedback about how we operate and execute." And so I did that, and I listened to their feedback and took very good notes. And, for the next 6 months, I went off and I actively worked on trying to figure out how to solve those problems. And 6 months later, I came back to the advisory council of partners, and I read out on the things that I did, and their feedback was amazing, right? Yep, we felt it, we saw it, appreciate your help. And so right then and there, I knew I was in the company of people that I really wanted to spend much more time with in my career. And so after that role, I had the opportunity to jump into the channel side at that company. It was about 3.5 years ago. I had what I saw in the market was a gap in suppliers that really truly delivered a phenomenal customer experience in the cloud space and around infrastructures and applications. And so I felt like with the relationships that I had built early on, that I could hop over there, kind of transform myself, quite frankly, and really help our partner community grow and expand and drive into whole new business sectors that they might not normally have been selling to historically.
So you transformed your own career by jumping into the channel, which once you're in, you're stuck. You're never getting out. But now, of course, the deal is helping partners transform and evolve. Now, the subject of evolution, CNSG and RackSpace have been together now for a very long time, and really through both of our companies' evolution, both you into the channel itself, and CNSG is really moving beyond, an access company, but a true cloud consultancy for a lot of our customers and partners. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen in that evolution with CNSG in terms of products and success.
Yeah, first of all, CNSG is one of our longest tenured partners. So thank you very much, Chris, for everything you guys have done with us. And frankly, over the last 3 years, the evolution has been amazing to watch and be a part of, quite frankly. About 3 years ago, came on board. And a lot of what we were talking about and pushing from a channel perspective was really, hey, this Office 365 thing, and it opens the door for all of this other data center business. And while sometimes that's true, the reality is sometimes it didn't lead to those follow-on sales. And so we immediately hopped into bringing our broader RackSpace portfolio to the forefront from a channel perspective. So what we started talking about next, we started talking about IaaS and infrastructure as a service. And really our partners hopped right into that conversation. And we're really willing to learn and help push and ask those right questions at the customer around private cloud and public cloud. And then even into the last year or so, the transformation into our partners really driving conversations also at the application layer, right? So what are the business drivers? What are the applications that are leading to those business drivers in their customers? And right, if they're a retail customer, what are you doing with your e-commerce application and those kinds of things? So now all of a sudden we have the tremendous relationships that partners bring to RackSpace, and partners align right next to us to sell with us. And we're out there really capitalizing on these very large opportunities because we're talking about applications, we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about security, we're talking about all of those things. And the opportunities just continue to blossom where we see more growth and acquisition of six-figure deals in the channel than we do elsewhere in our business.
One of the unique terms that we've been running into more and more is this concept of multi-cloud, which for a lot of the partner community is confusing. You know, they just got used to the idea of a private or a public or maybe a hybrid, and now what multi? Which of course in the channel means fear, uncertainty, and doubt. RackSpace is the cloud expert, and you've been seeing a lot more deals in this multi-cloud world. What does multi-cloud, hyperconvergence, whatever you want to call it today, what does that really mean for RackSpace, and what's this mean for a partner in terms of the opportunity that's out there?
Yeah, well, we have this saying around RackSpace that the cloud is for everyone, but not everything, right? And that's true of the different kinds of cloud that are out there. And the reality is customers' needs, they evolve, right? The needs evolve, the resources in customers evolve, and really because of that evolution, so does the complexity. So the complexity really grows across dimensions for customers where they're looking at cost, they're looking at security, they're looking at governance and performance and their own growth objectives. And all of those things drive complexity and the need for agility and flexibility in their IT architecture. And so that means that some applications should, can, and will always reside in, say, a colo environment or an on-prem environment. And there are other applications that are perfect fit for private cloud. And there are other applications that also work well and move out to the public cloud, whether that's AWS or Azure or Google. And so the customer has all these growing complexity and demands. These environments grow across a multitude of infrastructure types. And so what we see a lot of the times is they want help from an industry leader like a RackSpace to come in that really drives best practices across all of those clouds and can help customers really accelerate their journey to the cloud, simplify their life once they get there, and also continue to try to transform their environments so that they will continue to optimize and modernize their environment to help them kind of in the near term and longer term.
I like what you said there, and I think one of the key takeaways for the CNSG partner community is, we're very much used to in the sales process, everything starts with a problem, but a lot of times the problem, the solution to that problem is the application itself, that the software developer is building for them or the one that they're purchasing. After that, though, it gets highly confusing for a lot of our sales partners. And the key thing about RackSpace is that cloud expert. Once you know the problem and there's an application involved, you just know the application, or maybe just know it's going to end up in that cloud. That's where we really turn to RackSpace to help our channel community really achieve those bigger and better deals. And one thing that RackSpace has really firmly established themselves as in our ecosystem, but also just overall is truly a market leader, an industry leader. That being said, Michael, we've worked for industry leaders in the past, and we all know that sometimes when you get really, really big, things get very clunky, especially for a channel partner. I've had the pleasure of visiting your home office and seeing the culture there, but for those that aren't familiar with the philosophy of rack and roll, tell me a little bit about why RackSpace and why you guys really are the best choice for the partner community.
Yeah, well, it really, and I think we advertise this not logo, but kind of saying of a fanatical experience. Right. And a lot of partners and customers have heard that. And, it's can be a vague term, but I like to drill down into a couple areas because really this is at the crux of why our customers like us, love us, and why our partners like and love us as well. So the first is around our cloud specialists. So we have about 3,300 cloud engineers in our company. So we have about 1,600 AWS certifications, about 1,200 plus Microsoft certifications, 350 Red Hat certifications, 370 plus Google certifications. The list goes on. And so really those cloud specialists help drive the agility, the modernization, the customization across clouds for our customers. That's part of what creates this fanatical experience for us. The second thing is continued modernization. So once we take a customer and bring their application to infrastructure and layer on our managed services, we are beholden to drive continued modernization. So with those 3,300 cloud engineers, right, they all have different customers and different applications in all of our cloud environments. So every day that they come in, they are basically they are developing brand new ways for customers to be successful in those environments. And so when we bring a new customer in, we've probably seen the challenges, we've seen the application, we've seen the infrastructure where it's going, and we can bring those best practices to bear in helping our customers and our partners be successful. The third area of our fanatical experience is really around what's called RackSpace service blocks. And it's basically a pay for what you use kind of approach. So some customers would like some help designing the architecture and the strategy up front, but they want to manage the applications on the back. That's great. We can put a project-based professional services engagement together, and we can go after, and customers then just have to pay for that upfront kind of project work. It might be vice versa. They might have already figured out their strategy, and they would just like help basically powering engine, right? Patching the environments, keeping the lights on, keeping up with the feature deployment of an AWS and making sure we're taking best practices into consideration or even driving governance. That's what service blocks enable us to do. We layer on service blocks and can take service blocks off so that customers are only paying for the services that they need in this managed services world. And then lastly, my favorite part of our fanatical experience is RackSpace doesn't do this on our own, right? We're leveraging all of these third-party and technology alliance providers. So in the hardware side, whether it's Dell, Cisco, VMware, and then into the public cloud providers, through the application layer, we're aligned with the likes of Oracle and SAP and Salesforce. And so we're bringing all of these technology alliances to bear for our channel partners and we layer that fanatical experience on those technology providers and deliver it to our customers. And that's why we love aligning with partners because we're passionate about driving that fanatical experience for both you guys as well as your customers.
And one thing to take away from this for the CNSG community here is and I've talked about this with several other different types of products, but it's very true of cloud as well. Having that scale, and this time I'm not talking about hyperscaling, I'm talking about having the ability to have that growth, that presence in the marketplace, those logo accounts. RackSpace definitely hits that. But I got to tell you guys, when you're dealing with the culture of this company, it is something special. It is something outside of traditional telecom, and the fanatical support idea that Michael's chatting about. It's 100% legit. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and they really do, go to use the cliche, go the extra mile for their customers. But it's because they really believe in helping enable customers with their digital transformation, and they're definitely the experts to do that. Speaking of expertise, we recently had a rather interesting win with you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about that and the infrastructure that went on that some folks don't always think of RackSpace for?
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations. A very significant win with CNSG, and we are personally very appreciative that you had enough faith in us to bring us into this opportunity. It's a channel sourced deal through CNSG, and happy to report that it is the largest Google deal that has come through my channel to date. And so I'm sure if you all out there want to talk to Chris about the use case offline, I'm sure you'll be getting a few phone calls. But and that's the beauty of this. There was a very specific need. It fit best from a Google infrastructure perspective, and we all came together, the customer, CNSG, and RackSpace, and we did what it took to win this deal. And like I said, a very significant six-figure deal that we couldn't be more proud of. And again, thanks CNSG very much for having the faith in us to be able to help deliver on that.
Well, you definitely earned that through a lot of the smaller deals. So when we get to the big ones, it's easy. It's easy to work with RackSpace. Speaking of being easy to work with, Michael, tell us a little bit about it. CNSG partners listen to this. They sound like, all right, I'm ready to go in. I'm ready to go in deep with the cloud. What's their first step with you guys? Who should they reach out to?
Yeah, so Jackie Duffy is our channel leader for CNSG. She does an absolutely fantastic job. Or quite frankly, myself, Michael Stevens. You can find me on LinkedIn if you don't have my number, or Chris has it handy. Always willing to hop on the phone and kind of brainstorm about opportunities and problems to solve. But we're here to help you. We're here to be fanatical, not just with our customers, but with our partners as well. And so every one of those calls is important to us. And we're looking forward to having just an absolutely tremendous 2020. And what I would tell you is, our channel program overall is growing faster than ever. So in 2019, we grew 100% year over year. And I have a little objective with my team this year to do it again in 2020. So we're looking forward to doing that with absolutely fantastic partners like you all.
Well, we appreciate you, Michael, and to all of our CNSG brethren, as well as our new friends at AppSmart that might be watching this here today. Definitely reach out to Jackie and Michael. One final thing I kind of point out, and something that we've seen in the relationships is RackSpace actually does a lot of one-time assessments, which are commissionable to our partner base, which is awesome. But be it security or full cloud assessments, get them engaged on that piece, because they can literally build a blueprint for the customer's either successful security strategy or cloud strategy. And those almost always turn into those really nice sized deals as well. So kudos to your team and your process.
Yeah, just one little data point on that, since you did a plug for the professional services. What we see from a channel perspective, when we lead with a professional services engagement on the front end, our monthly recurring billing associated with the follow-on sale is usually 3 times the amount if we do the upfront professional services work. So no brainer on what that means for partner commissions. So and the upfront assessment is, as you mentioned, commissionable to partners as well. So the combination of both those things is really powerful for us in 2020 and beyond.
Well, fantastic. Well, Michael, thank you for helping us zoom in on RackSpace. We look forward to a fantastic year with you guys. And for those listening at home, we'll chat with you next time on the Zoom.